We are back. We're going to be discussing the consequences of God not being the center of your relationship. Make sure you like for the algorithm, okay?
Like and come in and bring in some flow. Come on with it.
Exactly. Oh, Mama Shirley said,
Love Jones is a classic romance movie.
it sure is.
What do you like about it, Mama? Tell me.
Yeah, tell us in the comments. Tell us. We want to know.
Everybody, what do y'all like about...
Hi, Jack.
What's going on, Jack? Jack the Beanstalk?
Yeah, I used to work with you.
A friend of Josh's. We certainly do appreciate you joining in on the Conscious Outlet podcast. We thank you. But yeah, man, what do you think are the consequences of God not being the center of your relationship? Because we already discussed that fundamentally there's already a cultural misunderstanding of who God is, right? Mm-hmm. So because of that, it could seem that God may not be the center of our lives like he's supposed to be, especially not in our relationships, right? So what are some of the outcomes of that kind of situation? And what are some of the things we saw in Love Jones that kind of played into that? Do you remember any moments in Love Jones that kind of played out with the whole thing of God not being the center? I
would say inner turmoil. And part of this, and there's nothing wrong with anybody going to their friend for advice or or just seeking out some type of knowledge. But if you think about it, instead of, going to maybe like a spiritual leader, you got all of this innermost turmoil and you're making bad decisions based off of how you feel or what you think may be best. Of course, Darius going to his friend who's actually going through something himself with his wife leaving the house. He may not be in the right mindset to give you some good advice or whatever. And also Nina going to her friend and saying, hey, what do you think I should do? And then her friend told her, well, basically make Darius suffer, to see how much that he likes you playing these little cat and mouse games or whatever. So, yeah. Yeah, no, good point. I like what you said there about Darius going to Savon for advice. Do you think Darius realized that Savon was going through all that? Well, he probably did because he saw his wife and his kid leaving. Yeah. But do you think, it kind of seemed like Darius maybe took it not too seriously. And so do you think maybe that's why he still found it appropriate to go to his friend to ask for advice? Like, it's kind of a weird situation because if my friend is going through something in their relationship, it might not be the best time for me to go to them for some advice. Well, it's different with me. It's like, oh man, he'll get through this, and that's what I felt. And they also were blowing out steam because they were at a bar, they were drinking beer, and then they were talking about relationships and like what they are currently going through in their relationship. So, during that time, Darius, he was expressing himself on, how he, felt and kind of, playing this little macho or, first he was playing like he wasn't hurt, but at the same time, he was trying to fill out his friend to see like, hey, I think Darius really, really is feeling something for this Nina girl, but he ain't saying it. And then he tried to catch him up, in it and stuff like that. So, yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of another scene where they are basically talking about this. And I think it's long after him and Nina broke up. And he's basically like, yeah, she my soulmate. Just kidding. Like, I don't feel that way about her. And you can kind of see the hurt on his face as he walks up and goes to get like a drink at the bar. I was like, why are you playing in his face like that? Like, why do you think he didn't own up to all those feelings? You think it made him look stupid? Like his friends, like... No, because he has always seen as Darius Love how the writer, the poet, the person that, make all the women, The one with the philosophy on life. Yes. Especially about love. Exactly, because, words is one of the few things that can get inside you and make you feel something, That's true. When a person can make love to your mind, Now there's something different, you know.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, and I'm quite sure that you probably know about that too. When somebody make love to your mind and stuff.
No, not really. I don't know what you're talking about, so
Okay.
I have no idea. But maybe I'll one day experience it. But yeah, I mean, to me, Nina just doesn't know how to date. She don't know how to date. How are you engaged and you don't know where your fiance is?
She
Okay, maybe they were broken up at that point.
Yeah.
Broken up at that point.
Because she told old girl at the beginning, she was like, "Hey, I don't know where he is, and I'm about to move." Because you remember, she moved to Chicago from whatever they were or whatever. Yes, it was probably.
Oh, she lived in a different city before moving to Chicago?
Yes,
Goodness.
unless it was just another part of Chicago. I'm just speculating.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of gaps we have to fill with this movie because a lot of it was not told to us. But I'm okay with that because it leaves a lot to desire.
We have a comment. And
Thank you, Kenya.
It's like I feel like a lot of relationships don't have the intention of being toxic, but they become toxic because it is out of order, like Miracle said. I agree with you totally, Kenya. Like, you know, you were definitely cooking on that one.
Absolutely. I agree because at the same time, it's like, no, we don't want to be toxic, but we are because we're not following the protocol that we are supposed to.
Exactly. And we're just following the pattern that, you know, that we're used to. And it's hard to get out of, you know, that pattern because what a pattern basically is a philosophy, is how we think.
Yes.
And like whether it's intentional or even unconscious, like those are things that, you know, we are doing. Like for myself, I never wanted to hurt any woman that I was involved with, but
yeah, I heard that before.
Yeah, I got you. But I really didn't. But at the same time, because that was my philosophy. Like my uncle Melvin, he taught me to, you know, be a player at a young age, just so I won't get hurt, because I guess he was hurt at, you know, some point in his life, and so I would meet these different women and I would treat them like royalty sometimes and treat them really good, and then I'm like, oh yeah, you know. I'm sorry, but this train is about to leave. And then they're like, what? You know, because I didn't want to get attached to anybody, because that's what Darius was doing the whole time.
Is that why you can relate to him?
Exactly. That is the reason why I can relate to him, is because he is a very artistic person, and he's a thinker. I don't see him as like one of those guys who's trying to be something that he's not, like Wood.
Yeah. Wood's a whole conversation. We'll get to that.
Exactly. That's why I didn't even want to, you know, segue into that or whatever.
I get it.
But Darius, he ended up, I would say, I think he has always seeked out growth. Mm-hmm. Because just even during that time, you know, he left his job working for, I think it was the Chicago Tribune, to start his own novel. He didn't get fired.
Yeah.
You know, so
he stepped out on faith. I wonder if he prayed about that.
I don't know.
Probably not. But honestly, it worked out for him.
Yeah, it did.
And like I said, Nina don't know how to date, but I think I'm so mad at her because I also relate to her.
Yeah. Because you don't know how to date, right?
I know how to date now.
Oh, okay.
But before, no. I didn't have a real good handbook on it. No, I said no. What?
No, I said that.
Because to me, the whole time Nina was showing me that she does not respect her own time, and she has no real boundaries. Which is how I was kind of operating during that time too, especially when you're in between heartbreaks. Mm-hmm. Like that can really cause you to make rash and fast decisions. And I could see that when she actually first spoke to Darius, because she's the one that spoke to him. Mm-hmm. We know he was trying to pull her in, but she actually said the first words to him. What are you thinking about? She was trying to get on a rebound. You know.
Okay, I never thought of it like that.
You know the old saying, what do they say? The way you get over one is to hop on another.
Yeah.
She was trying to do that. She knows that's why she went into that poetry club, and she was trying to find a way to get over him, which I get it. But at the same time, she didn't expect to catch all these feelings that she eventually did. And I was like, oh, Nina, yeah, I've been there, done that.
I actually think that's a lot of women.
Yeah.
They want to be courted, and they want to feel like chivalry is still alive, in which it is. And I think that when it comes to, there's a certain type of mystique that a poet or someone that's in the artistic, field, that is like, okay, I know that he's romantic. I know that he, understands about love. I know that, he could love me in a way that my ex couldn't.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Like, even within the relationship that we see, even within the relationship that we see between Darius and Nina, one of the consequences of God not being the center of their relationship is the fact that there's no real understanding for problem solving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're constantly not showing each other their hands because they're trying to protect their hearts. You know what I mean? And so it's causing a lot of distancing between the two.
Ooh, that's a good point.
When it doesn't need to be that way, because they clearly care for each other and it could work from the very beginning. But because Nina, it really all started with Nina. I'm gonna just be real. It all started with Nina. She's the one that wanted to go to New York to see if she still loves this guy. Now, and the guy I'm talking about is her ex Marvin. Okay. I don't like Marvin, but I understand why she was probably with Marvin. He was probably
No, Marvin is cool. She had ate his toasty oats. He came in home from work and he said, "Where are the toasty oats?" And then she was like, "I ate the last bowl." Exactly, just like you ate my last cookies about 30 minutes
all right,
ago.
but you didn't want to go to Sonic, so that's on you.
Sonic in the back room.
That might be. He talking about the cat now. You funny. Okay, I see what you're doing. But anyway.
Shout out to Prophet. I got that from him.
I like that.
Our producer.
That was good.
Pretty good guy. Yeah.
No, that was good. But yeah, like there's no real means of problem solving, because instead of what should have happened is Nina should not have agreed to go out with him in the first place, to be honest. Because when your heart is still with someone, yes, it is possible to start dating someone and potentially get over the one you were with and then, fall for the other, or just simply lose feelings for your old flame or whatever. Right? But in this case, she was about to get married to the dude. It wasn't no 2-week or 6-month relationship. It was, you're about to spend the rest of your lives together. Maybe you shouldn't date quite yet. Maybe you should leave Darius alone for now. And don't get me wrong, Darius was pushy. Like I said, he was kind of stalking her a little bit, getting her address from the check she wrote at the record store, showing up at the house that she said she was house sitting for. Yeah. So he was pushy, but she should have just said, no, I'm actually going through a breakup right now and it wouldn't be fair for you.
Let me ask you this. Wouldn't you say that the chemistry and the magnetic field from the both of them was so attractive that they eventually end up meeting at that vinyl shop? And so I think, yeah.
What do you mean?
So you remember when she came in and she was looking for the Isley brothers?
Okay.
And he just randomly came in. And so a lot of times...
Well, he goes there all the time because Sheila works there.
I understand.
And he loves music.
But at that perfect timing, he could have came there at a different time.
Yeah.
So, true. I think that it could have been fate that brought them together. So, I
believe everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I believe that. I get what you're saying. I guess my thing is the fact that did it all have to play out the way that it did? And if Nina would have just simply said from the beginning, hey, my heart is kind of taken right now. Maybe I can call you in 6 months if you're still single.
Man, see, only a woman thinks like that.
But and if he don't want to wait, he don't have to. He don't have to, right?
I mean,
but it still didn't have to play out that way, because I think about the movie and I think about all the scenes, right? I think about when they got together, them saying that they just chilling, which we'll get there in a minute. Mm-hmm. But all of the things that happened did not have to happen the way that it did, because think about the very first issue that they really had was her going to New York to see this guy. Obviously, she's not over him, right? And even though she was honest about it, it still played out that way because he wasn't willing to show his heart in it. Because he said, yeah, we're just chilling.
See,
Go ahead and do that.
A lot of times us as human, we tend to look at things and then we assess it. And then sometimes we make our own perception of it. So the only reason why that she still even had Buddy as an option is because she thought that she knew that there is a, lover boy. And so she was like, okay, well, maybe this is not going anywhere. Yeah, we having a good time. We kicking it.
Oh.
But then it's like, okay, well, I really like, Lorenz Tate, but if to draw him in more, because remember her and Josie had that conversation. They had the conversation when they were out eating, and then she was like, well, I just really need to see.
Josie's a yes man.
You think so?
Absolutely.
I mean, she'll be a yes woman, though.
You know what I meant. No, you're right. Let me say woman.
I actually don't think so. I think that she just had her friend. I really just think that she had her friend back because she wanted the best for her.
I think she's still a yes man.
How?
Yes woman. Because,
Explain.
because I see it all the time in female relationships where, you want to support your friend and be there for your friend. Of course you can. That doesn't mean you don't tell them the truth, though. Maybe Josie could have been a little bit more forward about, hey, but what about, what are you doing with this guy? Instead of like, girl, go ahead. I mean, you got to, do what you got to do kind of thing. Because
didn't she say you got to do what you got to do?
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying maybe she should have told her, like, hey, maybe you should, settle some things first before you pull everybody in it.
Okay. I like everything that you're saying.
Uh-huh.
My question is to you, do you think sometimes that we overstep our boundary as friends? Like, even though you know that person may get hurt, sometimes the best thing is to let them go out and do what they need to do because
she
you know
didn't even
that
try. She didn't even try.
I think that she just was a good friend.
She's a good, sweet friend, yeah. But is she willing to shake the table? No.
Okay,
is she willing to tell Nina what she needs to hear? No.
Okay. I take that. I guess I take that.
I don't. I actually even think maybe Savon is that type with Darius to shake the table a little bit.
Yes, he is.
So you agree with that? So compared to Josie, what do you think?
Yes, yeah. Okay. I see that you got that good, great debater thing going on right now and you are influencing me. Yeah, okay. I got you.
But that's the thing, though. Like, they were having all these issues and there's no real way to resolve it. And, God is not the author of confusion. So maybe if they had God in the center of their relationship, it wouldn't have led to all this. Because we see it here in James 1:19.
For my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry.
Now, this scripture right here displays a lot in the way that we should communicate and relate to each other, right? I think in Darius and Nina's case, they weren't doing this. from the very beginning they weren't doing this. Because even though I put a lot on Nina, a lot is on Darius as well. Because if that was the case, Darius probably would have respected Nina's choice to not give him her number from the very beginning. Because remember, she never gave him her number. They met again at that record store as what you were talking about with Fate. Mm-hmm. And that is how everything came to be, because he then saw the check with her address and decided to pop up.
I ain't gonna lie, that is kind of bold,
That
but
was
you
weird.
had to be, but you had to be intentional back, or maybe like the 80s, was between the 70s.
That was
all
in
the way to the
97, so I was 1.
Okay, yeah, I was much older.
You wasn't that much older, y'all.
I was like about 7.
You're like, oh yeah, you were.
Yeah. She was 1 and then I was 7. Yeah.
We the same age now because quantum physics. But,
Exactly.
but yeah, you know, if they would have just simply followed even just this one scripture, maybe a lot of the things that played out wouldn't have in the way that it did. And so we see that a lot. So now it kind of brings us to a lot of the things that we're seeing throughout hookup culture and how that can ruin potential relationships. And that is something we will talk about right after this break.
Like for the algorithm.
Like the algorithm. Like the algorithm. Like